He's having a little begathon tonight, eh? Saturday, he either has to leave or be evicted by Saturday. He doesn't want the eviction on his credit because he's already got evictions on there. So Saturday's out, boys. Either going to a hotel or you can buy him a new place. Where he's got me blocked, I can't donate. All I can do is give subs, but I'm not doing that. Fucking. I've just had a lot going on. I'm about to finish the bathroom electrical. I've been updating that on TikTok. About to get it knocked out. It's fucked, dude. The people before me just fucked everything. I had to pull it all out.
What you think about when you're born into a fire?
Yeah, Bert's begging.
It out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They want to let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves.
Now we're getting the backstory why he started doing karate. Because he got his ass beat while everybody watched. All his friends just watched him get his ass beat. I'm behind on the stream, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm like 5 minutes behind. Now we're back to the octagon. I'm gonna bring these haters to the octagon.
Wake
I don't know, dude. He's so... Just no shame left in him when he's like, well, I got to get out of here before I get evicted because they didn't pay the rent here either, and I don't want it on my credit report. So either you guys send me the money, or I guess I'm just going to live in a hotel. But you better send me the money. I got nowhere to go. What the fuck, dude? No shame. And I guess his internet's been off for a couple days. Let's get started.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that.
Yeah, he'll be owing on money for sure.
Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Yesterday I was just wore out. I've been doing a lot. So trying to get the campground going again. Redoing all the electrical. Basically fucking crashed out yesterday, dude. Crashed the fuck out. Like, I thought some work was already done. Like, oh, well, this is already wired, right? This thing is already wired. So what the hell is over my screen? Let me see what that is. Hold on. Something needs to be refreshed. Anyways. There it is. What is that? It doesn't matter. Anyways, I was like, how do I explain this? A fan light heater combo, not the one that I wired, but the other one that someone else wired, was basically just straight fucking wired. There was no switch to turn anything on. So basically when I would have turned the power on, everything would have just ran all the time. There's no way to turn it off. There's no way to turn it on. There's no separate, like light versus fan versus heat. It was just light, fan, and heat would have just all ran at the same time. And I'm trying to think what would possess somebody to wire some shit like that. Like what, other than, you have no idea what you're doing, and you just match white goes with white because the wires are color-coded, white goes with white, black goes with black, and ground goes to ground. Why the fuck?
Cheronk 512 just resubscribed for 23 months.
Thank you very much for the resubscription. I appreciate it, Sharon. Why the fuck would you wire something like that? And I would understand, like, if it was some grandma or something. She's like, I didn't know. But these are people that claim to be, like, in the trades and electricians and construction workers, and I know what I'm doing, kind of like, what the fuck? So all that wiring had to be pulled back out. All of it had to be replaced. And it's not just like that one thing. It's like every time on this project I've opened something up that someone else did, it's been wrong. So now I've had to do it all over again.
Just resubscribed for 40 months.
Thank you for the resubscription. I appreciate it. Not because everything now, I've pulled everything out. I've redone everything because at the end of the day, I'm going to be there when we turn the power on, and it's going to be my name. Nobody's going to remember like, oh, that one outlet that burst into flames and burnt the building down was actually wired by Joe who wired it before, blah, blah, blah. It's going to have my name on it, right? I'm going to be standing there when we turn the fucking power on it, and when the goddamn building burns down, no one's going to blame anybody else. So everything has to be redone. And it's just, I don't know. I crashed the fuck out. I made a really, really fucking mean TikTok video, but I didn't post it because I was like crashing out. So instead I posted a different one, but almost got it all knocked out. It just blows my mind how people function in the world. Like how do you even function day to day? I don't know. Either way, about got it done. Got to buy lights. Got to buy a couple breakers. Got to buy the right switches. We actually found these really cool switches that do. You guys know what occupancy switches are. Most big stores have them. It's the ones that like have a switch and they have like, it almost looks like a little frosted screen above the switch. And that's if you're in the room, it turns on. And if you're not in the room, it goes off after a certain amount of time. Like if you don't move in front of it within 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, the light goes off automatically. We use those pretty often, but I found another one that like senses humidity. So we had a problem with people not turning on the exhaust fans when they take a shower and shit like that. And it causes steam to build up and can cause mold and other issues, water damage basically from the water vapor. So I found one that senses humidity and automatically kicks it on to the humidity's at the right level. So we got to buy some of those switches, some timer switches, some other things. A couple more breakers that I didn't anticipate needing to use. Trying to think. It's getting real close. The bathroom is. So that would mean the bathrooms are done. The office is done. The first floor of the apartment's done. All that would be left is the second floor of the apartment. And get that knocked out. And then I'll move from electrician to plumber, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot to do, but we're getting there. That's the best, I guess. So we'll see what happens. I was just tired after working all day yesterday and then crashing the fuck out and being pissed off. And I came to the office, but I just didn't feel like doing shit. So I'm back now. I did not donate to Bert's moving fund or his eviction fund or whatever the fuck's going on, but I did see him begging about it. A lot of people are trying to spin this narrative that why was Trump so suddenly set on no Epstein files, no, it's a hoax, don't do it, no Republicans should be voting on it, blah, blah, blah. Now, and people are trying to spin this narrative, oh, he's playing 5D chess. He wanted the Epstein files out the whole time. That was his goal. He just wanted the stupid liberals to do it to themselves. I don't think that's true. Because his lapdog, Mike Johnson, was very visibly upset so basically Mike Johnson was forced to vote on the bill that was in the discharge petition. And that discharge petition says all of them come out unredacted unless you literally file some paperwork for the redaction with the federal registrar for why you're redacting it. If it's involved in an investigation, it has to be narrowly tailored, and you have to have a written affidavit. So basically, like it's a pretty good bill. Okay, the House version of it is a really good bill. Mike Johnson was expecting when it went to the Senate to for there to be amendments to it. Mike Johnson couldn't make amendments. The House could not change it because the discharge position says you're going to vote on this bill. But when it went to the Senate, he was expecting some people to stand up against it and make some amendments. That's not what happened, okay? The Senate passed it with unanimous consent. And he is visibly shaken about this. I think the plan was we have to vote on it like this in the House. The Senate and John Thune, they're going to change it to where it fits a better model for Trump, okay? And to protect our friends and whoever. And then it'll come back and then we'll vote on it and everybody can vote yes and blah, blah, blah. And we'll be able to make more redactions without having to. So let's say there's 10,000 redactions. They have to file paperwork for every single redaction. Why they did it, why it needs to be done. And they can't just say, oh, we filed that. Like it's got to be filed with the people who keep all the memos, all the tabs, all everything, right? It has to be registered there. Yeah, he's visibly upset. Watch this when the reporters ask him about it. I think this was their little protection clause that they fucked up.
I made clear for months that I thought there were serious flaws in the underlying bill, and I had hoped that the Senate would work to fix and correct those. They decided to go a different direction. That's their prerogative. I was surprised and disappointed by that. But overall, I mean, the bill has passed. Congress has spoken. And, we did what was necessary. I hope it brings comfort to the victims and the survivors.
Now, this was him after he had a couple hours to talk about it or to think it over. This is him. Where's the one where he's... Is this the one where he's like running away? Okay, here. That's after he had some time to put himself together, to gain some composure. But watch this one.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer.
So he left a steak dinner. He's blaming it on the Democrats. Oh, I was told Chuck Schumer rushed it out. What are you talking about? The Democrats are not in charge in the House or the Senate. So he left a steak dinner. He rushed to it.
Reaction to Leader Thune.
And why would he be disappointed? Why would we be disappointed that the Epstein files are being released? I thought he was all for releasing the Epstein files. Listen.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say
it needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens. This does not seem like a 5D chess move like, oh, we got them. We got them. You know, we got in there and we fixed it. We got them. They'll never know what hit them, right? That does not seem like that's what's going on.
I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns.
What did it need amendments for? We both have concerns? Hold on. Wait. What does it need amendments for? I don't think they're going to get away with this as part of an investigation. They said it had to be temporary and narrowly tailored if it's part of an investigation, right? That's a legal term, right? The tailored, narrowly tailored, it only protects what actually needs protecting. And any redactions, I think that's a big deal. Any redactions have to be accompanied with a memo explaining why. That has to be registered with the Federal Register. And it has to be published, why you redacted. So you can't just redact Trump's name every time and say, oh, well, it was because it said Trump. That's not going to happen.
Do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't call him.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority leader? Any reaction to...
I think I'm going to let you watch it. I'm not going to pause it this time. Just watch it all the way through. I think he is bothered. I got to go change that in Stream Elements.
Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have concerns about it, so we'll see. I was standing there with the Crown Prince. We couldn't call him.
Are you frustrated in the majority leader? Are you upset with the majority leader? Any reaction to Leader Thune seeing the bill without adding amendments or changing it?
I think they're very upset. I think they're panicked. I think they thought that this would go a lot differently for them. That's what I think. I think they thought that there would be shit changed in there, right? That there would be amendments that they would change some of the stuff around redactions and having to register every redaction for why you're doing the redaction, what you're doing it for, all that type of shit. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like that's what they got. Right. Let's do this. Let me have someone. Let's see. Who do I trust to cover it? The current bill. I wonder if news. Yeah. Here we go.
How much of the Epstein files are we actually going to see? Like, are we going to just get pages of black line redactions? Are we going to see anything? You've been asking those really great questions. And in this video, I'm going to give you the facts about how all of this is going to work. So this is a long video, but if you want to understand this information, you need to be watching it till the end because there's some important stuff at the very end. First, you need to know, as of me recording this video, President Trump has not yet signed this bill into law, but we do expect him to sign it perhaps sometime today. So when he...
Yeah, there was a... Hold on. Who were they telling me that was? Was it Larry Summers? I think Larry Summers opened class today. Larry Summers came into class and opened his course that he was teaching today by admitting that he's in the Epstein files. Like, what the fuck?
And in this video, I'm going to give you the facts about how all of this is going to work. So this is a long video, but if you want to understand this information, you need to be watching it.
I know I have an accent, but do you spell it Summers, like summer, winter, or do you spell it like Sommers, like S-O? I've always heard it Summers, but I don't know.
Again, because there's some important stuff at the very end. First, you need to know, as of me recording this video, President Trump has not yet signed this bill into law, but we do expect him to sign it perhaps sometime today. So when he does that, then what? Well, as I reported in this video last week, President Trump has ordered a new investigation into the activities of Jeffrey Epstein in the Southern District of New York. Generally,
I don't know how to say that. Is that Louboutin? Louboutin? Shoes? Are those expensive or something? I don't even know what that is.
there is an investigation. The Department of Justice does not release files related to that investigation, nor do they even really talk about the case. But we will have to wait and see what actually happens once Trump signs this bill.
Like $1,000 shoes?
For
Damn.
argument's sake, let's assume that Trump signs the bill, and let's assume the Justice Department decides not to withhold any of the files.
Oh, they all have red bottoms too. Is that like a QAnon thing?
That's a stretch, but go with me. So now we need to go to the actual text of the bill that Congress passed. And here's the thing. That bill is extremely specific about what can and cannot be redacted in the Epstein files by the DOJ. On top of that, there must be
it's spelled with a U, like summer.
Written documentation about why things are redacted. The law specifically says within 30 days of Trump signing the bill into law, the DOJ, the FBI, and the state attorneys...
They got 30 days. And again, any redaction has to include a memo why we did it and for what reason, to protect who, why, whatever. They can't just go to it with a black Sharpie.
Offices, meaning all of the federal agencies that were ever involved in the Epstein investigation, must publicly make available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications.
I didn't. So someone said to me, Larry Epstein, and I said, you mean the New York City financier? I had no idea that all this stuff was going on.
And investigative materials in their possession that relate to Epstein himself, Ghislaine Maxwell, flight logs, and any travel records of any vehicle owned, operated, or used by Jeffrey Epstein or any related entity. They must release the names of individuals, including government officials, named
So these are all the things that they want released.
or even referenced in connection with the Epstein criminal activities, civil settlements, immunity, plea agreements, or investigations. They must release the names of entities, whether they are corporate, nonprofit, academic, or governmental, with known or even alleged ties to Epstein's trafficking or financial networks. They must release all internal DOJ communications concerning decisions to charge or not to charge, investigate.
So his brothers, not only on the news, His brother's talking about saying weird shit like he has insiders that know what's going on with redactions and this, that. His brother needs to be investigated, dude. Internal DOJ communications, including emails, memos, meeting notes, concerning decisions to charge or not charge, investigate or decline to investigate Epstein or any of his associates.
Or decline to investigate Epstein or his associates. The DOJ must release all communications, memos, directives, logs, or metadata concerning the destruction, deletion, alteration, misplacement, or concealment of documents, recordings, or electronic data related to Epstein, his associates, his detention, and his death. I know that's a lot. I'm going to explain those things in a second, but I'm just getting to the critical part of this legislation. There is a whole section about what information the Trump administration or any administration after him can and cannot redact. Most importantly, I want to start with the section titled Prohibited Grounds for Withholding. That means what the DOJ...
All right, so they did put in safety measures. Again, it's not just like they can go through and black out someone's name just to do it.
Jay cannot withhold or redact. The law says, and I want to emphasize this, no record...
Well, I mean, I don't know how far they'll go back. They're telling them to turn over everything they got. With no limit of how far back on the Epstein trafficking case, basically. Known associates, all that stuff. But I don't know how long they've been investigating him for.
Shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary.
So we don't care if you're going to be embarrassed or if it's going to cost you political capital or whatever, whether you're a current, former, a foreign dignitary, we don't care. You cannot redact for that.
Now, I'm going to stop right here because this clause is the reason why the House Speaker and several other Republicans went...
By the way, they already doxed a guy from fucking, was it Kuwait? They forgot to redact one of the times that this Kuwaiti government official was in there.
House floor yesterday, and we're demanding that the Senate...
It's the same guy that said, I don't want to go straight into your house because I don't know if Trump will be in there or whatever. That was a Kuwaiti something or another.
Amend this very bill. That is why I made a big deal about it in this video yesterday. As I reported in that video, during an investigation like this, lots of names get swept up and put into an investigatory file. Some of those people did absolutely nothing wrong, but others may have done something wrong, but just were not prosecuted for one reason or another. The Speaker of the House and several Republicans were arguing yesterday that those names should all be redacted because if their names came out, they too would be victimized. Now, this legislation says absolutely
maybe that's one of the amendments they wanted.
not.
Now, again, Mike Johnson, and he said, I spoke to the president. Trump wanted amendments. Mike Johnson and the House could not do amendments. So basically, Mike Johnson was forced with a discharge petition to vote on this bill as written. He couldn't change it. He couldn't do anything. The discharge petition forced him to vote on the bill as written. What he was hoping was that the Senate and John Thune, they wouldn't have passed it and instead would have made amendments, passed it, and then sent it back to the House. And then the House could have voted on it and sent it to Trump. But John Thune, asleep at the wheel, or maybe this is his dead man switch, I don't know. They passed it through unanimous consent.
Your name is in the file, whether you did something wrong or not, your name is going to be released, even if it's embarrassing or politically sensitive or would cause you or your company reputation.
And unanimous consent, all it takes is one person to say, I don't know about this, right? And then that's it. But no one did.
Harm. The legislation says that's on you. Now, whether you agree with that, that is your choice. I am just reporting what the legislation says. And remember, the Senate did not change that language. This is the exact language that is on Trump's desk to be signed into law. Now, there's one more section that I want to explain because there are things that this bill does allow the Attorney General to withhold or redact. First of all, the section says only portions of records can be redacted, but only if it contains personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal medical files. And by victims, this law means
By the way, the House had one no vote. What's the guy's name? Clay Higgins? Is that his name? He's from Louisiana. And he says, I'm voting on principle because this goes away from the criminal justice procedure we usually do.
Young girls who were trafficked and abused by Epstein and his associates. The Attorney General can redact information that depicts or contains child sex abuse and information that depicts or contains images of death.
Here's what we're talking about. Would jeopardize an actively federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, provided that such withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary.
Physical abuse or injury of any person. Now, there are two relevant clauses in this section that are going to become very important. Section C says the Attorney General can redact information that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or an ongoing prosecution. However, it can only be redacted if those redactions are narrowly tailored and temporary.
Now, narrowly tailored is kind of an opinion, but it kind of isn't, right? You can get away with a little bit of narrowly tailored, but it kind of isn't either. It's used in the legal system at all times, which we know Trump will appoint anybody in his Justice Department, so who the fuck knows what they think. But narrowly tailored, it really means like we have to protect this because it would outright jeopardize the investigation. But this over here, well, we don't know, it could, that doesn't count.
Section E says the Attorney General may redact information specifically authorized by the President in an executive order that must remain secret and are designated as
in the interest of a national defense or foreign policy and are in fact properly classified pursuant to the executive order.
Classified for national defense or
You think Trump's going to try to panic and classify the Epstein list?
foreign policy reasons. Now, Section C and E do give President Trump and the Attorney General some wiggle room here to redact.
I will tell you this. There are people that think that John Thune is like this quiet, reserved genius when it comes to political momentum and fallouts. And that maybe John Thune, now I'm not just making this up because the Epstein files, there was actually an article written months ago that was like John Thune's red line with Trump. He's never endorsed Trump, right? He campaigned for McCain. He's never endorsed him. He's never come out. They don't see eye to eye a lot. They're not really good friends. And there are people that think that if you look at his history, he's really good at knowing when to jump ship. And that maybe he thinks the momentum's turning against Trump. I'm not going to be the guy that holds this up and does fucking amendments when the American people are all unanimously saying, release the fucking files, right? I don't want to carry this baggage with me. So I'm just letting it go through.
Things in the Epstein files. Trump and the AG Pam Bondi could, of course, point to Trump's new investigation into Epstein as a reason for withholding portions of the files. Again, not the whole file, but portions of it. And Trump could designate some of the information in the file as classified because of national security or foreign policy issues. And that would be completely legal under this bill. But the authors of the legislation anticipated Trump would probably try to do this because they also put this section in the bill. It says all redactions must be accompanied by written justification for why it's being redacted and must be published in the Federal Register and submitted to Congress. And
so not only do they have to publish it, so every redaction, I don't care if it's national security or it's classified or, it's for an investigation or whatever. Every redaction in any file has to be accompanied with a written justification that goes to Congress and Federal Register. If it goes to the Federal Register, that means we can read it. Why do they redact line 6, page 35 on document number 7? Because blah, 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 whatever. We should be able to read it too.
if the president classifies items in the Epstein file because they fall into that national security or foreign policy realm, the Attorney General shall release an unclassified summary for each of those redactions. So
even if he classifies it and says this is classified, we get an unclassified, a declassified summary of what it actually says, minus the classified portion.
To that national security or foreign policy realm, the Attorney General shall release an unclassified summary for each of those redactions. So if there are redactions, we are going.
People are like, you'll see there's Democrats on the list. Good. Like, what do you think we're doing? Do you think that we think that only Trump will be on it? Do you think I'm trying to hold on to my fucking Bill Clinton Jordans? I'm like, no, we can't release it because then my shoes will be worthless. I don't have presidential merch.
Going to see a written justification for why the president and the attorney general believe those things should be withheld from the public. Lastly, the bill says 15 days after the Epstein files are released.
We now have...
Ah, fuck. I fucked that up. Hold on.
Files are we...
Uh-oh. Let me refresh it. I scrolled away while I was moving the mouse.
How...
Why won't it let me... Well, let me fast forward.
How much of the Epstein files are we actually going to see? Like, are we going to just get paid off? But we do expect him to...
I guess you're going to have to watch the whole damn thing again. I'll speed it up. Hold on.
How much of the Epstein files are we actually going to see? Like, are we going to just get pages of black line redactions? Are we going to see anything? You've been asking those really great questions. And in this video, I'm going to give you the facts about how all of this is going to work. So this is a long video, but if you want to understand...
I can't fast forward at all. That bugs the shit out of me a lot. Anyways. Yes, the Epstein files are coming. Yes, Mike Johnson seems pretty bothered by it.
Without adding amendments or changing it?
I'm deeply disappointed in this outcome. I think I've been at the state dinner. I don't know. I was just told that Chuck Schumer rushed it to the floor and put it out there preemptively. It needed amendments. I just spoke to the president about that. We'll see what happens.
So do you think he may veto it? You say you spoke to the president?
I'm not saying that.
Is he supportive of it in its current form?
We both have...
The reason I think Trump came out in favor of it is people were telling him, like, it's fucking political suicide. It's fucking political suicide, dude. It's happening anyways. You might as well get ahead of it. You can't stop it. They're going to vote. It's happening anyways. You can't stop it. You might as well, even if you're in it, even if it's horrible, even if it's shitty, you might as well say, yeah, vote for it. Because what can you can't change anything. It's too late. You're behind the ball. And I think he thought that he was going to get amendments from the Senate. That John Thune was like, fuck no. Unanimous consent, let's do it.
My position on the files has never changed. Yeah, I'd release the files.
The client list is sitting on my desk. The files don't exist.
This whole thing is a Democrat hoax.
Oh yeah, you've been...
Look, we need a distraction.
Oh, don't worry, sir. There already is one.
They think I suck Bill Clinton's dick.
Well, not necessarily his, but someone's.
Now, how does this go away?
I'd stop saying big, beautiful Bill for a while. I don't like this at all. Why are you upset? I wanted to be the first gay president.
Release the files, Donald.
Shut up, Marjorie Taylor Brown.
Why'd you call her that?
I hate everyone who's brown.
What do you want?
I hate...
He did call her that, but he said because that's what grass looks like when it dies. Her name was Marjorie Taylor Greene, so he calls her Marjorie Taylor Brown because her grass has died.
Everyone who's brown is my bat signal.
Yeah, sir, there's mounting pressure to release these files. Okay, but what?
I hate everyone who's brown is my bat signal.
Yeah, sir, there's mounting pressure to release these files. Okay, but what really is a pedophile? Were they below the legal age of consent? Is 15 really that bad? Yes! Well, it's not 5. I can't believe this is an argument.
Okay, now what?
I think you gotta release them.
Quiet, piggy.
Why do you bring me into this?
Fine, like I've said all along.
Trump called a reporter piggy on Air Force One.
Release them.
Okay, well, the House and Senate just voted unanimously to do that, except for one guy named Clay Higgins.
What's a Clay Higgins?
Oh, I am an asshole.
Bam, this better work.
Don't worry, the parts about you are heavily redacted.
I know that, but I'll get in trouble if I say that word.
No, redacted? You're thinking of the word retard.
That was very good. Yeah, so she asked the question, like, if nothing's wrong with the Epstein files, why not release them? And he said something about Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, asked those people. I thought he was a weirdo. And then she tries to ask a follow-up question, and then this happens.
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead.
He says, quiet, quiet, piggy. The President of the United States, folks.
If there's nothing incriminating in the file, Venezuela, sir. Quiet, piggy. Venezuela, sir, you've had a lot of meetings on. If there's nothing incriminating.
He pretty blatantly says piggy, but I mean, I guess you can make up whatever he wants.
In the file, Venezuela, sir. Quiet, piggy. Venezuela, sir, you've had a lot of meetings.
The White House has now responded to this.
Quiet, piggy.
He was responding. He was talking to Catherine Lucy, who is a Bloomberg White House correspondent. Now, the question she was asking when he interrupted and told her to be quiet was, if there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not? And then that's when he cut her off and said it. This has been getting a very big fallout, as it rightly should. And the response that the White House said is, this reporter behaved in an inappropriate and unprofessional way toward her colleagues on.
They're not even Trump's not even claiming he didn't say piggy. They're saying, oh, I called her piggy because she was rude.
The plane. If you're going to give it, you have to be able to take it. Now, I found it very interesting that they said to her colleagues, because one of the things that has been so frustrating to me whenever I see Trump bark out and be incredibly disrespectful and rude to female reporters is nobody else, none of their peers stand up and say, we're not going to talk like that anymore. He's now saying, or the White House is now saying, they were rude.
It's because they're claiming, now it's because, I can find the longer clip, but she asked one question. Trump tried to sidestep it, not give a non-answer or whatever, and move on to another question. She tried to follow up, and someone else was asking a question at the same time. So that's what they're saying. That's their claim. Let me see. How long is this one? That's still the 7 second. I'll find the longer clip.
Because there's so many of us that are saying, why aren't you guys saying anything? So it was kind of like covering up for the colleagues that didn't.
Yes, I think the fucking reporters should band together and be like, we're not fucking speaking like that. You can get on the goddamn plane. Like, whatever. He loves media attention. That's what he wants. He wants that attention. When you say, we're not going to give it to you, you can basically force him to play by a standard.
Speak up for her too. This kind of behavior is not new. We see it all the time with Trump. In fact, on Tuesday, he was saying to Mary Bruce, I think the way you asked the question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. And this is not the first time.
And he talks about taking ABC's. I'll show you that clip in just a second.
Go ahead.
Oh, here's the longer clip, maybe.
If there's nothing incriminating in the file, sir, why not?
Quiet, piggy.
As Donald Trump.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, just a problem for lack of it.
This is probably it. All right, here we go. So he says that was the quiet piggy part, but now we've jumped back 10 seconds or something right here. Okay, ready?
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said?
What did Jeffrey Epstein mean in his emails when he said you knew
About the girls?
You knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that. They would have been asked that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton, with the president of Harvard, that is Summers?
Those are things we need to address. So we need to check out his relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and Harvard, and no one's saying we're not. But you can only answer about you. He said, I know nothing about it. That would have came out years ago. Then he goes on to Bill Clinton and Larry Summers. Yeah, we're going to investigate those guys too, for sure. No one's letting them off the hook, but you can't answer for Bill Clinton and Larry Summers. So the only question we can ask you is, what did Epstein mean when he was talking about you?
Larry Summers, whatever his name is, and all of the other people that he spent time with. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw strength because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos from something we bring. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah, Jennifer.
Okay, now she tries to ask again. Because she said, what did Epstein mean, blah, 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 all that question. Then she tries to follow up with, if there's nothing in there about you that's bad, why not release them? But he tries to move on to another reporter.
All of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase. Yeah,
If there's
Jennifer, go
nothing
ahead.
incriminating in the file, sir, why not?
Quiet, piggy.
Are you retarded? Are you retarded? First of all, you said, no, he said Peggy. And then you come back with, well, I don't blame him for calling her Piggy. Like, how many times are you going to move the field goal?
Incriminating in the files, sir. Why are you acting as a on Venezuela, sir? You've had a lot of meetings on Venezuela. I know you can't tell us what your next steps will be.
There you go. That's the full clip, so nobody can say I took it out of context. Right? She asked one question. She tried to follow up. He tries to move on to another reporter, and then he says, quiet, quiet, Piggy. Here's the one that was pretty wild. You guys remember I covered the who did he work for? I covered the his name is Jamal Khashoggi. The Jamal Khashoggi murder. I mean, it's horrible. They lured him to an embassy. They murdered him inside. It was they had audio recording of it happening. He wrote negatively about Saudi Arabia. They lured him there. They recorded a lot of it. They killed him and then chopped his body up in pieces, then took it out in duffel bags and went in separate locations, took his body back to Saudi Arabia to prove to the crown prince or whatever that they had murdered him. Really horrible, right? He was a reporter. Yeah, it's just horrible. And our intelligence, not only is there a recording from inside the embassy where you can hear all this happening, but our intelligence was like, oh yeah, 100% Saudi Arabia killed Khashoggi, Jamal Khashoggi. Wall Street Journal, is that who he worked for? Hold on, let me make sure. Washington Post. I don't know why I said Wall Street Journal. The Washington Post. Yeah, 100% they murdered him, and the Crown Prince knew about it, okay? Trump tries defending him in some pretty fucking crazy ways. He was 100% murdered. The Crown Prince, all of our intelligence basically said, yeah, the Crown Prince knew about it. He ordered it. The Crown Prince ordered this because of the coverage he had talked about human rights violations and stuff in Saudi Arabia. So ABC, while he's there, Trump rolls out the red carpet for this guy. Look how Trump responds to a question here.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it?
Now, he's already mad about the Khashoggi thing. And all this lady asks, I'm going to show you the Khashoggi thing in a second. All this lady asks is, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein? You could do that right now.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's...
Now, was there anything wrong with that question? Mr. President. Wait, we have to wait on Diane to be like, well, that bitch, the way she wore her eyeliner was offensive to him, and I don't blame him a bit. She says, Mr. President, why wait on Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not do it? Why not just do it now? And how do you think he responds?
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I would turn out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is...
We've talked so many times about these people. They're in the news today. Every time Epstein comes up, they're in the news.
...is a Democrat hoax. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at...
They're going to potentially take the license for asking you why you just don't release the Epstein files instead of waiting on Congress?
That because I think
when we accuse them of weaponizing this licensing system, right, and the FCC commissioner and stuff, and the way they did Jimmy Kimmel and threatening people and going on podcasts and saying either they take action or we will. They're like, no, you got it all wrong. They fired him because they wanted to. Now he's like, we'll take your license. I don't like the way you ask me questions. It's not the words you say, it's how you say them.
And when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You're going to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Now, again, he's upset because the Epstein files, because they're getting released, because he didn't want them released, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is falling out, all that stuff. And this reporter's name is Mary Bruce, and I think you spell Khasho. Is it GGI? Maybe. She also asked this question, the Khashoggi question. And she directly asked about the journalist.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11.
100%. The intelligence agencies are not like we think or he could have. They're like, he ordered it. We know he ordered this murder. Now watch Trump jump in front of this bus.
Families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about, whether you like him or...
A lot of people didn't like it. The journalist? It's almost like he's making excuses, like the way people make excuses for like rape and shit, right? Like making excuses that he should have been murdered. A lot of people didn't like him.
Phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about, whether you like him or didn't like him. Things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to.
When Diane comments from now on, just say hush, piggy.
Embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just you ask, Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, you know.
Trump jumps in front of this bus. Should you be doing business in his country while also having him here and licking his asshole? Trump answers that. Then the other question was for him, like we know. Our intelligence knows you had this man killed. Well, a lot of people didn't like that guy. What? On October 2nd, 2018, Jamal Khashoggi, a Saudi dissident journalist, was killed by agents of the Saudi government at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey. Khashoggi, we watched this video. Listen to the audio of him being murdered. Khashoggi was ambushed and strangled by a 15-member squad of Saudi operatives. His body was dismembered and disposed of in some way that was never publicly revealed. The consulate had been secretly bugged by the Turkish government, so the government had audio recording of this. And Khashoggi's final moments were captured in audio recordings, transcripts of which were subsequently made public. The New York Times reported in June 2019 that the Saudi government engaged in an extensive effort to cover up the killing, including destroying evidence. By 16 October, separate investigations by Turkish officials and the New York Times had concluded that the murder was premeditated and that some members of the Saudi hit team were closely connected to this guy, the Royal Crown Prince. After repeatedly shifting its account of what happened to Khashoggi in the days following the killing, the Saudi government admitted on 25 October that he had been killed in a premeditated murder, but denied that the killing took place on the orders of bin Salman, this guy. Bin Salman said he accepted responsibility for the killing because it happened under my watch, but asserted that he did not order it. By November 2018, U.S. CIA concluded that bin Salman had ordered the murder. In the same month, the United States imposed sanctions against 17 Saudis over the murder, but did not sanction bin Salman himself. President Donald Trump disputed the CIA assessment, expressed support for bin Salman, and stated that the investigation into Khashoggi's death had to continue, and later said the United States intends to remain steadfast partner of Saudi Arabia to ensure the interests of our country, Israel, and other partners in the region. Like, this is a very, 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 very important relationship. And I think Mike Pence said it, but it's been said before. Like, you go to for diplomacy, and you have to accept people as they are. Okay? This is a country that has people killed. This is a country that does human rights violations. And it's a very important strategic partner for us. I'm not saying like we come out and like, you murderer, and slap him across the face and be like, we're never doing business with you again. But we also don't make excuses for it. We also don't make excuses for it. We don't come out and say, oh, all of our intelligence is wrong. He didn't do it. A lot of people didn't like that reporter. Bullshit. You treat it how it is, right? That's something that should have never happened. That's something that should have been ordered. Our CNN concluded he ordered it, and that's a horrible thing. We also need this very strategic partnership, right? Trump is jumping in front of bullets for this man so he could get down and give him a fucking rim job, right? This is what Trump respects, is people with tons of money. That's it. The murder prompted intense global scrutiny and criticism of the Saudi government. A report by the United Nations on extrajudicial executions in June 2019 concluded that Khashoggi's murder was premeditated and called for a criminal investigation by the UN because Khashoggi was a resident of the United States. The U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Saudi prosecutors rejected the findings of the UN investigation and again asserted that the killing was not premeditated. Imagine that under Trump. In January 2019, trials began in Saudi Arabia against 11 Saudis accused of involvement in Khashoggi's murder. In December 2019, following secretive proceedings, 3 defendants were acquitted, 5 were sentenced to death, and 3 others were sentenced to prison. 2 of the acquitted defendants, Saad al-Qatani and Ahmad al-Asiri, were high-level Saudi security officials. The 5 men sentenced to death were low-level participants. So they basically had fall guys, right? Low-level participants, and were pardoned in May of 2020 by Khashoggi's children. The results of the trial were criticized by the UN Special Rapporteur who investigated the murder. So basically it was all a show, right? So the 2 head guys acquitted, right? The people that were convicted, they had Khashoggi's family that still lives in Saudi Arabia come forward and say, we forgive you and we want you pardoned. It was all for show. This guy had that guy murdered in a brutal way.
And we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Okay, just you ask, Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden, he used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose.
So Saudi Arabia, we went over this the other night. Saudi Arabia was who if you want to be mad at somebody for 9/11, it's Saudi Arabia.
Is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve.
I do believe you have to weigh all these things with how important is that strategic partnership on a global scale. Like this guy being a piece of shit, human rights violations. At some point, there's like a red line where we got to start sanctions. We got to stop selling them shit. I don't think it's like, oh, well, you had this guy murdered, so we're never speaking to you again. Get fucked.
Wrong, and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation, it's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or not in a legal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened.
Damn, that one still pops up. Let me see if I can fix that one.
And we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated.
So it's pretty interesting to see Trump jump in front of this fucking bus, right? Like, to see him take this bullet, it's insane. I think I got just another clip of it. Let me see.
A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you talked.
That is insane, dude. That is insane. A member of the free press and journalist being murdered for something he wrote that turned out to be true, right? He wrote about the human rights violations and the way the Saudi government treated certain classes of people. Well, some people didn't like him.
About whether you like him.
We just keep, under this administration, it's been topic after topic after topic after topic after topic that we've been normalizing, like killing fucking reporters because of something they wrote. Oh, well, 14, 15-year-olds aren't as bad as, like, it's not like he was with an 8-year-old. What the fuck?
Didn't like him. Things happen.
That was an absolutely stunning moment inside the Oval Office just now, where the Saudi Crown Prince was visiting the White House for the first time in years, and for the first time since U.S. intelligence concluded that he had personally ordered the murder of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was taken inside of a Saudi consulate, killed, and then dismembered. But when a reporter tried to ask the Saudi Crown Prince about his death,
and Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you?
President Trump stepped in, scolded the reporter, and then not only that, justified the murder of Jamal Khashoggi by claiming that the reporter was controversial.
But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Despite Trump claiming that MBS knew nothing about Khashoggi's death, it was Trump's own CIA in his first term that found that the Saudi Crown Prince had ordered it. You also heard the president praise the human rights record of MBS and also criticize President Biden for only...
Yeah, I forgot that he stood up and said that he's a leader in human rights, I think. Hold on.
Two of them met with President Trump saying he would shake his hand.
Trump, Saudi, human rights. Now, if Saudi Arabia is known for one thing, it's not exactly fucking human rights, okay?
I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince, the future king. I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the Crown Prince.
Human rights and everything else.
The future king.
You're on a human rights watch list, always.
Very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible.
Just so crazy, dude. The way that he gets down on his fucking knees and licks this guy's fucking asshole is just insane. Just because he's got money. That's it.
The International Security Force, given your pledge there would be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that? And how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say, really, it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all started.
He also said that now on, he wants to sell F-35s to Saudi Arabia. Okay? Now, is this a big deal? Well, sort of. Usually, they get like a down-rated version of the F-35s. Or they get a down-rated version of our fighter jets. They don't have the F-35s. But even when we sell our fighter jets, we don't sell them the exact same version that we have, right? We just don't. Instead, we sell them a downgraded version. Now, Israel is different. Usually, Israel gets a better version than the people that surround them, right? Because they're basically, the argument is they're surrounded by all these people that want to wipe them off the fucking map, and so they get a little bit better version. Trump is going away from that tradition and saying, no, they'll get the same. Everybody will get the same. I think everybody should just get the same. Now, whether you like that or not, it is moving away from tradition for sure. And he talks about that in this meeting a couple times. Pentagon intelligence report says China could try to acquire the F-35 from Saudi Arabia. That's a big deal that we have to look at. Saudi Arabia deals with everybody. Saudi Arabia deals in making money. So we got to keep an eye on that. We hope that they don't go to war with some of their neighbors, but if they did, the F-35, I mean, there's nothing that can keep up with it. Zero. And how likely is it that China gets their hands on this through Saudi Arabia? Maybe. The F-22, I think, is not slated to retire until 2030, 2032, something like that. But even then, there'll be partner organizations that still fly them. Yeah. Well, I guess we just have to see. We usually give Israel this thing called, what is it? Is it qualitative? It's called a military edge. Is it qualitative military edge over their neighbors? That's usually the way we supply weapons to the Middle East versus Israel. Whether you think we should do that or not, that's up to you to decide, but that's the tradition. And it seems like now we are going away from that, or at least Trump is. And he speaks specifically about that. Let me see.
When you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's read that because that's our standard practice. They won't have the upgraded version. Trump just said, nope, they will.
This is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced...
Right here. I know they'd like to get you to get planes.
This is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. When you look at...
Yes. So what he's saying is, like, I know they want you to get a lower caliber weapon, right? Because y'all are neighbors and the F-35 is basically unstoppable. But I know that wouldn't make you happy. So I think everybody should get the same.
The F-35, and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah. This is a great...
The reporter asked if they're getting the same F-35s that Israel gets. That's the question here.
When you look at the F-35, and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah. This is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. When you look at the...
That's crazy to me. I'm worried that Trump would go as far as not... So... Basically, there's three levels, right? There's like our level, what we get in the U.S., our military uses. Then there's a level we give to like Israel, maybe the UK, like our top-of-the-line allies, and Israel being the only one from that region. And then there's a level we give to the rest of the world. I'm afraid that Trump will go so far as fucking licking their assholes that he wants to give them the same plane that we fucking have. And then imagine that going to, damn, that didn't fix it either. Then imagine that going to China, right? And being delivered to China. And what are we going to fucking do with that? That must be on a timer. I got to go fix that. I don't know. It's just wild to me. I guess it's just wild to me. That Trump is, nobody has the reins, and Trump is a child, and no one has the reins. Right? Somebody should be in charge here at some point. And Trump is a completely different person when he's talking to somebody that has fucking money. Money that his sons wants to get and collect for him. I don't know. But when we're talking about the Epstein files, are you guys using the MAGA years calculation? It's like dog years. It's a different calculation. I don't know if you guys even knew that, but...
Everyone's mad at Megyn Kelly because she's splitting hairs over pedicab versus heebie-jeebie. Give her a break, okay? You just don't understand MAGA years. It's like dog years, but for wealthy, tax-averse people. Okay, so let's try to understand the MAGA mind. So here's a graph, and because we're in MAGA world, let's start with men.
All right, before we get started, here is what, that should be the caption here is Quiet Piggy. Quiet Piggy. Yeah, we know you won your own golf tournament that you keep the score for, that you win every year. We get it. Quiet Piggy.
Control group. Okay, so white guy in his 30s who says some racist stuff, maybe does blackface, maybe says some heinous things in a group chat. He's a kid. He doesn't know any better. Okay, so that is a child. 15-year-old girl, the question at hand, is basically an adult. Okay, she knows what she got into. She's basically grown up, all right? 15-year-old boy who's a mass shooter, that's a kid, okay? Just with some mental issues. Unless he's black, then he's a full adult no matter what. Using this logic, we can understand MAGA morals, okay? So if you're a drag queen reading to kids, you're a pedicab. Gross. But if you're a billionaire boinking underage girls, you're the president. Let's take another example. If you're an immigrant and you work hard to take care of your family, or you're a mom on Snap trying to feed your kids, you are actually a criminal, okay? But if you're a billionaire who funnels millions of taxpayer dollars into your personal bank account, you are, say it with me, the president. I hope that clears it up. You know, let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to discuss it further, but
that makes more sense there.
Like, it's super simple. I don't even know why people are upset right now.
You guys should have known that, right? I don't know why everybody gets so carried away. Obviously, that's the way it works. Let's see, a nice healthy dose of fuck around and find out coming up.
The Trump administration says they're cracking down here in Charlotte, North Carolina to detain and arrest undocumented immigrants and keep American citizens safe. But what I want to show you is what happened here to an American citizen.
Uh-oh.
No, usted me lo quiebra, usted me lo paga. Usted me lo quiebra, usted me lo paga. Usted quiebra mi ventana. ¿Por qué hizo eso, señor? ¿Pero por qué lo están haciendo?
We're here at the car where this all happened. As you can see, there is no glass in the window. There is still glass scattered all around the floor, all around the chairs, by the pedal. I asked this man, Willie Asatuna, about how he's feeling right now. I want you to take a listen to what he had to say.
When the officer broke my window, I was two things in my mind. The first, I was scary and angry. In that moment, I don't know what happening, because all time I tell the officer, I got my papers in my wallet. Check my wallet. Put under arrest.
U.S. citizen with papers that voted for Trump.
I say, I am citizen. I feel sad because behind to me is the other Latinos under arrest and they got to auction, probably they got papers. When the officer catch me like this, and I got pain all the area in the last 2 days, you know, I think it's no human, that guys. I think it's animals because don't talk to me nothing.
Now, Willie Aceituna told me that he voted in 2024 for President Trump, and when I asked him if he regretted that decision, he told me, fue la peor decisión de mi vida. It was the worst decision of my life.
Tell me the reasons why you voted for President Trump.
Close the border and economy.
And do you think he has done what he promised to do on either of those?
No.
It comes around eventually. Latinos for Trump are the most fucking cucked people in the world, dude. The most fucking cucked people. All right, check this out. If you're wondering what's going on with that ICE budget, well, it's being funneled around back to their friends and family, okay? The ICE budget is being funneled around back to their friends and family. Here we go.
Today, ProPublica published quite a scoop about Trump DHS Secretary Kristi Noem that in any era, any other era, I should say, would be a career-ending scandal. But to understand the pattern of corruption of this woman, we just have to zoom out just a little bit, just for a moment. Because since Noem took over DHS at the beginning of the year, she's become known for appearing to be more obsessed with putting on various costumes than doing.
I don't know if you've seen all of her ads, but she loves cowboy hats. She loves running around with guns. She loves riding horses, and everything's been made into an ad. Every bit of it.
Her actual job. I mean, she donned a bulletproof vest just to talk to her own agents. She wore a Customs and Border Patrol uniform on Fox News. And of course, she is constantly, and I mean constantly, throwing on a cowboy hat and riding horses. Always with.
Wait, before it's revealed, who do you think the money for the ads was funneled to? It's under her. It didn't go like up to Trump, but who do you think it was funneled to? It's a person we've read their comments, their quotes over and over and over and over and over and over again on this show. And as soon as I say their name, you'll know. The money was funneled to, you know how every time there's an issue with ICE, like they pepper sprayed a kid or they arrested a lady that was a U.S. citizen or they shot somebody or blah, 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 blah. It always comes down to the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. We read her comments all the fucking time. There was no pepper spray. They didn't shoot anybody. They didn't do this. That didn't happen, right? It's her husband. She is the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs for the Department of Homeland Security. Her husband ended up with all these contracts.
Plenty of cameras around to capture the moment. But Noem's apparent obsession with image actually goes much further than just putting on costumes, because she has directed more than 200 million taxpayer dollars.
ProPublica stole it? That's crazy.
Into TV ads to promote her work at DHS. And just to put it in context, that is nearly twice what DHS
I usually trust ProPublica
altogether in all of last year. And the content of those ads have already been a scandal kind of in and of themselves.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border.
And if you were wondering who exactly the target audience is for that, DHS spent $30,000 to run that ad, the one I just showed you, specifically in the ad market where Mar-a-Lago is. Now, as much as spending tens of thousands of dollars to make sure your ad plays on the TV near the president is a bizarre waste of taxpayer money, $30,000, it turns out, is a drop in the bucket compared to the more than $200 million DHS has spent this year making and airing ads. And the rest of that money is where the story gets truly bonkers. I mean, since March, we have known that DHS skipped the normal competitive bidding process when giving out the contracts to make and air these ads. DHS claimed that because Trump declared an emergency at the southern border.
That is true. It says that an independent woman journalist, Miranda Kazos, has been covering this story for months on TikTok and in her Substack. She was trying to get ProPublica to pick up this story and had been in communication with one of the authors of this article since July. She was shocked to find they printed the story yesterday without giving her any credit or compensation. She has publicly come out accusing them of taking her incredibly important reporting. You can find her videos here on TikTok. I'll have to check out her TikTok and follow it.
They didn't have to waste time getting competitive bids. And that brings me to the first part of ProPublica's big scoop today. Because it turns out that the majority of that no-bid contract money, 143 million taxpayers.
No-bid contracts. The government typically doesn't do no-bid contracts. The only way they're getting away with this is because Trump declared it a national emergency, so now they don't have to take bids. Usually the government takes bids, and you got to meet certain criteria. That doesn't always mean they'll take the lowest bid, but you can also see something's off if they're taking the most expensive bid or the bid from just this company each time, whether it's lowest or not. But with no bids, we don't know.
Dollars went to this kind of mysterious LLC in Delaware, an LLC that was created just days before it got that no bid contract.
Yeah, and what's kind of crazy is the administration does know they get preemptive pardons, and you can blame that on Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden, a lot of people will blame that on Joe Biden, that he pardoned a bunch of people on his way out. But honestly, it's really Trump's fault because Trump was making all these promises to go after all these fucking people when he was coming in. So Joe Biden really didn't have a choice but to fucking pardon people because Trump's going to fucking go after them either way. It's like he set up his own little fucking fallback plan before he was even in office.
And the man who owns the home that LLC lists as its address did not respond to ProPublica's questions. Now, when asked why the agency chose that LLC, DHS said, quote, "The results speak for themselves," and then proceeded to claim that Trump has made the border the most secure it has been in American history. Not exactly answering the question. So DHS gave a $143 million no-bid contract to a brand new LLC that no one seems to know anything about. That is obviously a scandal enough to begin with. Then there's this. This is an ad Kristi Noem shot on October 2nd, which, by the way, was the second day of the government shutdown. So while hundreds of thousands of federal workers went without pay, including the nearly 50,000 TSA workers that work under Noem, Noem donned a cowboy hat and had a production company film her riding horseback with buffalo. And whether or not you care about the very weird content of the ad, you should care about who made it. Because according to ProPublica's new reporting, that ad was made by a company called Strategy Group, which is run by a man who is not only the husband of Noem's chief DHS spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin. Yes.
Tricia McLaughlin's husband.
She's a something, but also has personal and business ties to Noem herself. And the company's name, Strategy Group, does not appear on any of the public documents about the contract. And
that's why they did this way. By the way, that's why they did it this way. They went through a brand new LLC that was literally just started days before it wins this contract. Why the fuck would anybody, government or whatever, go with a brand new company that just started days before the contracts were even supposed to go out? That's weird.
Said the group listed on the contract is the mysterious Delaware LLC that DHS gave that $143 million contract to. I should say that DHS said in a statement to ProPublica that it does all of its contracting by the book. Okay. But the office in charge of funding ad contracts at DHS is the Office of Public Affairs.
The office that does the ads is Tricia's office. Tricia's office just happened to choose a 3-day-old LLC that also just happened to choose her husband's company. Imagine if I was doing a stream and it was like let's say I was a big streamer and I was giving away $1 million. $1 million to anybody. $1 million to anybody. And you have to, I'm going to pick somebody in chat. And instead of picking a longtime viewer or somebody that you guys know or whatever, I pick a brand new name that just popped up randomly. I just picked this name, right? I picked Joe Schmo or whatever. And then I pick that name and I'm like, here you go. Here's your $1 million. And then they decide, completely separately from me, that they actually want to donate that $1 million to my wife. Of course, people would be like, what the fuck? He gave that money to himself. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
which is run by none other than DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. And when she was asked about why DHS ended up using her husband's company, Strategy Group, to make that ad, she replied with this. We don't have visibility into why they were chosen. I don't know who they're a subcontractor with, but I don't work with them because I have a conflict of interest and I fully recuse myself. My marriage is one thing and work is another. I don't combine.
So they're not even trying to hide it, dude. They just feel like if they have 1 degree of separation, they're like, oh, I hired this 3-day-old company. I can't help it that they decided to hire my husband. At least go through 4 or 5 shell companies or something, right? Holy fuck.
Combine them.
This is why they're so concerned with midterms. They're not even hiding. They're not even hiding this shit. And if they don't maintain control through midterms, they're going to be fucked while they're still in office. He's going to be signing He's going to wish he had the auto pen to sign pardons.
Tricia, I mean, her husband, the CEO of Strategy Group, Ben Yoho, did not respond to ProPublica's questions. So not only did DHS give a $143 million no-bid contract to an unknown LLC, but that unknown LLC then hired someone tied to Nome, someone literally married to the Nome aide in charge of giving out DHS ad contracts. And believe it or not, this is not the first scandal about Nome and this company, the Strategy Group. See, when she was governor, Nome's office hired...
Wait. You guys are going to want to see this. Nome's office hired her while he's governor. Let's see all the cosplay that Kristi Noem's part of. Check this shit out.
Strategy Group to make these ads. Yet again, a lot of costumes going on here. This is Nome.
State trooper, construction worker, nurse, office worker. She loves to dress up almost as much as Steven Crowder, but she doesn't cross-dress as much, I guess.
Dressed as a state trooper, a construction worker, a nurse, an accountant. Here's Nome dressed as an electrician, a welder, a dentist.
An electrician, a welder. She just loves to dress up. Why is she in a welding hood?
My favorite, a plumber.
A welding hood, a dentist, and a plumber. Look, she's under someone's sink.
There were a lot of these ads, millions of dollars worth, paid for by South Dakota taxpayers. Those ads were the result of a bidding process, and the state...
Why the fuck is she under somebody's sink?
It says the process was done by the book. But ProPublica reports that a former official from Nome's South Dakota governor's office has since alleged that the bidding process was rigged. The former official said that a top Nome aide told them the governor would be angry if Strategy Group didn't win the contract. And then contemporaneous text messages reviewed by ProPublica corroborated that account, showing that senior Nome administration officials pushing for Strategy Group to get the contract. There's the...
Do you think it's possible? I still think this is shady, but Legend, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's possible that ProPublica was also working on this exact story at the exact same time? And maybe that's why they went ahead and ran with it? I still think they should have mentioned this person, Miranda Kazos. She also does veterinary work. Yeah.
All that. Nome, of course, denies those allegations. I should note that MSNBC has not independently verified ProPublica's reporting. But if this reporting is accurate, and it's very detailed, and a company run by someone with personal and business ties to Nome herself has managed to score government contracts, huge ones, from Nome's agency with no bidding process and literally zero transparency, that should at least very much be a call for an investigation from somewhere.
At minimum, there should be investigators all over this. The IG's office.
For Nome to be forced to ride off in the sunset on one of those horses.
All right, this is the account that allegedly it was stolen from. It seems legit. I don't know. I don't have a way to research this, but let's see. There's the ProPublica. My work was stolen. Here are the receipts.
You should know about. So people who think LLC, you should know about. So people who think LLC, that's the J cannot. They got the majority of that $200 million contract. But then there is something called Safe America Media, LLC. And as you guessed it, just like Kristi Noem's business, it is more of an entity in Delaware, right? All the same address, Delaware. And it is closely associated with Mike McElwain. It is technically a nonprofit / America media company. And wouldn't you know it, they just became a thing in February.
Oh shit, that was me. My bad.
You should know about. So PRS Delaware. And it is closely associated with Mike McElwain. It is technically a nonprofit / America media company. And wouldn't you know it, they just became a thing in February of 2025. So just shortly after she became DHS secretary, this heavily conservative Mike McElwain, McElwain, sorry, I read Virginia address and suing not in South Dakota, but coming up with reasons that something was an emergency and didn't need approval, and then just giving the contract anyway, which is
state political firms that were awarded contracts related to Kristi Noem's workforce marketing campaign began weeks before the official request for proposal was published. According to documents obtained by Sioux Falls Live, they indicate that the governor's office developed a plan in consultation with the strategy group, the Ohio-based firm Lundowski and Yoho, that worked on Noem's 2022 re-election campaign, and they were eventually awarded the $5 million contract. We knew that. The document shows that Ben Yoho, the CEO of strategy group, and officials from the polling firm WPA Intelligence pitched the GOED after 2022 election on a plan to do market research to guide the Freedom Works Here campaign. There are 7 different companies bid to do the commercials for Freedom Works Here, all while knowing the whole time that the money was always going to Go West Media. Well, Kristi Noem, of course, takes taxpayer federal money and starts a media campaign. And then she starts stealing trade secrets. But who is now in charge of her media and communications? Trisha McLaughlin, who just announced her engagement to Ben Yoho of Go West Media.
Ah. That's just fucking insane, dude.
Quite a scoop about Trump DHS secretary.
I wrote all of that story. That entire story came from me, and it was stolen from me from ProPublica, and I'm having to watch mainstream media also profit immensely off of my hard work. So if this reaches ProPublica, my Venmo's in the bio. So I was going to let it go, but the messages from people that have read my work and know it's my work haven't stopped, and watching it continue on my FIP is just too much right now. Not only did I write the same thing in the article I sent ProPublica and send a text message about.
And one of the firms benefiting is deeply tied to Noem's inner circle. I'll explain more. A South Dakota-based company called Strategy Group.
Strategy Group is Ohio-based, not South Dakota-based, but I gave ProPublica that information, connecting all of them in my notes here from July. And
a mysterious Delaware LLC created just days before it won the award is listed. Anyone who knows a good tax evasion scheme, usually Delaware's in there somewhere.
There is something called Safe America Media, LLC.
My voice notes to ProPublica when Finger was broken.
And as you guessed it, just like Kristi Noem's business, it is more of an entity in Delaware.
This author cannot say that they already knew all of this because they specifically state that they didn't know this about the LLC.
Had missed coverage on Safe America, and yep,
in July. Look, goes on to say, little is known about the Delaware company, which is called Safe America Media, and lists its address as the Virginia home of a veteran Republican operative, Michael McElwain.
Associated with Mike McElwain, it is technically a nonprofit, and they just became a thing in February of 2025.
ProPublica states the main recipient listed on the contracts is a mysterious Delaware company which was created days before the deal was finalized.
So just shortly after she became DHS secretary.
Federal records show the contracts have gone to 2 firms. One is a Republican ad company in Louisiana called People Who Think, which has been awarded $77 million. I only sent a voice note telling them who the contractors were, but I wrote an article giving the contract number and the names of the contractor and posted it on Substack by May. Trying to stay ahead of things and make sure the story got out, I made this video, which I also sent to ProPublica. That one of the ways Republicans will grift public funds to themselves within these campaigns and make it legal, they will do so by setting up media companies, and then that way the people in charge of the money can create commercials or ads, including a weekly series featuring herself cosplaying. So who's getting that $200 million? Let's look at the first one. People Who Think, LLC. Who owns that? Jay Connaughton. Just happens to be the Republican Party of Louisiana. Her guess who the other vendor is. You remember when I told you about this?
The ad. You should care about who made it. Because according to ProPublica's new reporting, that ad was made by a company called Strategy Group.
Because she started doing that in South Dakota, coming up with reasons that something was an emergency and didn't need approval, and then just giving the contract anyway, which is how she got involved with Ben Yoho Media, Corey Lewandowski, and Go West Media. It's a giant racketeering state. And so,
which is run by a man who is not only the husband of Noem's chief DHS spokesman.
Damn. It does look like they stole her story. That's fucked up. Anyways, go follow her. Miranda Kazos Sievers. There you go, chat. The last thing before we go, guys, if you want to support the stream, do that link. The mods have been dropping it. It's that Just Quick Tools link. It's better than, it's got all the links, and then you can go wherever the fuck you want. I got to get a catchier name for it or forward my website to it eventually, but I haven't got that done yet. I'm struggling with shit on my website right now. It's all fucked up, of course. Anyways, the last thing I want to show you is that an update on the Comey story. So apparently they never presented the second indictments to the grand jury. Instead, they just reprinted it and brought it only to the jury foreman, which is completely fucking illegal. What if they'd have changed something else? What if they'd have changed other things? What if they would have had changed it? It's just insane that the grand jury never actually saw the indictment that they returned on James Comey. should 100% get this case against James Comey thrown out, and now the statute of limitations has expired. So here's an update.
Breaking news.
That was last night we covered this, right? The James Comey stuff, or not before, I'm sorry.
Motions hearing in the James Comey case. Let's get right to our MS Now legal affairs reporter, Fallon Gallagher, who was inside the courtroom. What did you hear and what have we learned?
Yeah, Anna, the biggest headline today had nothing to do with the motion that was actually being considered by the judge. We learned some very important information about what happened with those grand jury proceedings that another judge, a magistrate judge, earlier this week said could amount to misconduct. So basically what we learned is that Lindsay Halligan went into that grand jury room and initially presented...
Lindsay Halligan admits that, no, I did never... they had one with 3 counts and one with 2 counts. They gave the grand jury instructions and sent them away to deliberate with the one with 3 counts. They came back with a true bill on counts 2 and 3, but no on 1. So the grand jury's gone. The only person there is the jury foreman. And she says, well, let's just take that one away. Here, sign this one. And she admits to that. No, I never gave the new indictment. She said it wasn't a new indictment. I just had the jury foreman sign off on it.
A 3-count indictment. We knew this. The grand jury said no true bill to one of those counts and only charged Comey with those 2 counts that they did agree to. Now we know that Lindsay Halligan never actually presented that new 2-count indictment to the grand jury. Instead,
officially, like if we go by the letter of the law, then there is no indictment at all.
They reprinted a draft copy of a proposed indictment with only those 2 counts, and only the foreperson signed it. So this is a really big deal because she never actually presented to the full grand jury the indictment with which James Comey is charged. Now, the judge has asked for...
So what he's actually, the one he's actually charged with, the grand jury never even saw it. Only the foreperson saw it, the foreman. The other one, they just threw away. The one they actually saw, the one they actually deliberated on, the one they actually talked about, the one they actually, signed on to and said no to charge 1, but yes to count 2 and 3. That one just disappeared. And the one that they actually have him indicted with, the grand jury never even saw it.
The government to look into a case from 1969 that we understand has to do with a similar grand jury proceeding. He's asked for some briefing on that. The defense will respond. But if this is the case, this could be a really big deal, and this could be grounds enough for the Comey defense team to actually have this indictment completely thrown away. Anna?
There are rules. There are rules around a grand jury that if there's like some type of procedural thing that they can go immediately back to have so much time to keep this indictment, go back and fix it with the grand jury, blah, 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 and repair it. But I don't think that'll work now the statute of limitations is gone, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think they really fucked this one up. And Lindsay Halligan is not long for that position. Trump specifically put her in that position to do this job, and she fucked it up. So, all right, guys, thank you all for joining us. Consider supporting the stream at that link that's in the chat. I got rid of the buy me a coffee link and the coldbeer.fund link until I can fix it. But there's a link. If you click this link, I show you what it looks like. It's just like my old website. If you click the link, it takes you to a link that has my Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And then there's a PayPal link, buy me a coffee, and a dono clip link. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Consider supporting the stream at that link. I'll get a better name for the link or something. But thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Help us pay some bills if you want to. It's better than helping Bird, I guess. Have a good night. I'll be back on the next one. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or not, but I'll be back. Thank you all. Everybody have a good one. We'll see you then.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go. I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6 cents for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Opened his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16, high on amphetamine.
I saw your link, Rob. I'm not arguing that that's a thing. The argument is Trump wants to change that. He's saying no. I get that that's the plan. That's what everybody thinks. That's what everybody thinks should happen. And Trump is sitting in the White House saying, no, we'll just give them the regular ones.
Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't...
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Round 3.